Have you ever felt like something was watching you, even when you were completely alone? Have you ever heard a whisper that wasn't there, or had a memory that didn't belong to you? These are not just stories. They're pieces of people's lives that slipped through the cracks of reality. So grab your blanket, dim the lights, because these 5 terrifying tales will crawl under your skin, and stay there. Don't say I didn't warn you. Story 1. The gas station that shouldn't exist. Sometimes, the people who try to save us, are the ones we don't believe until it's too late. My name is Thomas. I've been a truck driver for 15 years, traveling across highways day and night. I've seen a lot of strange things on the road. Animals walking alone, weird lights in the sky, and once, even a man walking in the middle of nowhere in a wedding suit. But nothing, really nothing was like what I saw on a cold night in November. I was carrying a load from Nevada to Colorado. It was a long, boring trip. The kind where the road looks the same for hours, and your eyes start to feel heavy even with loud music on. That night, my GPS started acting weird. It was blinking and saying, recalculating route, even though I had a clear path. I tried restarting it, but it still showed strange roads that weren't even on the map. At first, I thought it was just a tech problem. But then my gas gauge dropped fast, like really fast. I had just filled up a few hours earlier, so there was no reason I should be low. That's when I saw it. A small, old gas station on the right side of the road. The sign flickered. Endwell Gas, open all night. I was relieved. I pulled in and parked. The place looked really old. The windows were dusty. The roof was cracked, and the gas pumps looked like they hadn't been used in years. But the lights were on, and there was a man standing outside in a brown uniform. He looked strange, like someone from an old black and white movie. His clothes were neat but covered in dust. His face was pale, and he had dark circles under his eyes. But the creepiest thing was how he stared at me, like he knew something I didn't. I walked up and said, "Hey, can you help me? My GPS is messed up, and I'm running low on fuel." He didn't move. Instead, he said in a quiet voice, "You need to turn back. The road ahead ends in fire." I laughed nervously. "What does that mean?" He just repeated, "If you go forward, you won't make it. Your time ends tonight." Now I was feeling really uneasy. I asked again, "Is the gas working? Can I fill up?" He turned slowly and pointed at my truck. "It's already over." I looked back, and for a second, I thought I saw something strange. Like my truck was gone. But then I blinked, and it was there again. I turned back to ask the man another question, but he was gone. Just gone. Vanished. There was no back door, no car nearby. I ran around the building, but all I found were dry weeds and broken windows. I got scared and decided to get back in the truck. I didn't care about gas anymore. I just wanted to get out. But when I tried to start the truck, it wouldn't turn on. The engine didn't even click. I tried again and again. Nothing. Then, I heard it. A loud horn. I looked up, and my heart nearly stopped. A huge truck, exactly like mine, was coming down the highway at full speed. It looked just like my own vehicle, same color, same company logo. It hit something, and exploded in flames. I watched in shock as firefighters and police showed up. I stepped out of my truck, and a cop ran toward me. "Sir, how did you survive that crash?" he asked. "What crash?" I replied. He pointed at the wreck. "That was your truck, the same license plate, but it's completely destroyed." I was shaking. "That can't be my truck. Mine is right here." He looked confused. "There's nothing here, sir." I turned, and my truck was gone. Just like that. Now it was only me standing in the dark, near a broken gas station that looked dead. No lights, no sign, just ashes. The officer said, "That station hasn't worked in over 40 years. It burned down in 1983. The man who owned it, Walter Endwell, died in the fire trying to stop a fuel leak. I couldn't breathe. The man who warned me, he died decades ago, and somehow, he had saved me from dying the same way. Since that night, I've never driven that highway again. But sometimes, late at night, I dream of that gas station. And I see Walter, standing there, pointing, whispering, "Turn back, it's already a Story 2. Whispers from the crib. My baby monitor picked up voices, but my wife has been gone for years. I live alone with my infant daughter, Ellie. My wife, Sarah, passed away 2 years ago in a car crash just a few days after Ellie was born. Losing her shattered me, but I held on. Because of Ellie, we moved into a quiet suburban house last year. It's small, cozy, and silent. Too silent, sometimes. One night, I was doing the dishes when I heard something strange, a whisper. It came from the baby monitor on the counter. At first, I thought it was static. But then I heard it clearly. It's almost time. Soon. I froze. I dried my hands and turned the volume up. Nothing. Just silence again. I brushed it off. Maybe a neighbor's monitor was on the same frequency. But the next night, it happened again. He's not ready, but we have to do it. I dropped the plate I was holding. It shattered on the floor. My heart pounded. Who was talking? I ran upstairs, thinking maybe someone was in Ellie's room. But she was asleep, peaceful as ever. Alone. I checked the monitor's settings. Everything was normal. The following day, I installed security cameras all around the house, especially inside Ellie's room. I didn't tell anyone. I just wanted to be sure. Later that week, around 2 a.m., the whispers returned. This time, I recognized the voice. It was Sarah, my wife. Soft, gentle, just like how she used to speak to Ellie. "You have to listen. He can't see yet, but I'm here." I couldn't sleep. I watched Ellie's camera feed on repeat the next morning. And at 2:07 a.m., something happened. The room's temperature seemed to drop. I could see the digital thermometer blink blue. The curtains moved without wind. And then, a woman entered the room. She didn't open the door. She just appeared. She had long, dark hair and wore Sarah's favorite white nightgown. I couldn't see her face clearly. It shimmered like a reflection in water. She slowly walked to the crib and placed something underneath Ellie's pillow. Then she disappeared. I rushed upstairs, heart racing. Ellie was still asleep. I gently lifted her head and checked beneath the pillow. There was a small, folded paper. It said only one thing. "Don't let them take her. They're watching." I didn't know what it meant. But something inside me shifted that night. I believed her. Over the next few days, I stayed alert. I barely slept. I reviewed the footage constantly. No other visitors. No more voices. But on the 7th night, I heard something terrifying. "Tonight. The plan is set." She goes back. That evening, around 3 a.m., the carbon monoxide alarm went off. I grabbed Ellie and ran out of the house. The fire department later told me that the gas line behind the crib had a leak. It could have poisoned her in her sleep. That's when it hit me. Sarah had been trying to warn me. To protect Ellie. But there was more. A week later, a real estate agent came by to ask about selling the home. I told Harry wasn't ready. She looked surprised and said, "That's strange. The previous owner said a baby died here, and her mother disappeared." I never told her Sarah's story. But maybe this house, or something in it, keeps looping the same tragedy, over and over. Not this time. Thanks to Sarah, we broke the loop. Story 3. Echoes in the hallway. I'm the security guard at an abandoned school, but I don't belong here. It was a simple job. Night security at a run-down high school that had been closed for years. No students. No teachers. Just old desks, broken lockers, and creaky floors. I didn't mind. It was peaceful. A little creepy, maybe, but I liked the quiet. Every night, I walked the same route, from the front entrance, past the gym, through the science wing, and back. But a few weeks in, I started hearing things. Laughter. Faint, distant, like it was coming from the basement or through the walls. I'd shine my flashlight around but find nothing. One night, while walking through the cafeteria, I heard the sound of a ball bouncing. Bounce, bounce, bounce. I followed the sound. Down the hallway, past the lockers, into the gym. Nothing. But the old basketball hoop was swaying slightly. The next night, I came in early. Around 6 p.m. The sun had just set. I went into the science lab and found something odd. A chalkboard that had been wiped clean. But when I turned away and looked back, a word had appeared. Remember. My stomach turned. I thought it was a prank. Maybe some kids snuck in. But the doors were locked. No alarms had gone off. Then it got worse. Desks began moving, slowly, creaking across the floor by themselves. Lights flickered in strange patterns. And once, when I looked into the bathroom mirror, I saw a boy's face behind me. Just staring. I turned. No one was there. I tried to quit the job. But every time I left the building, something called me back. And one night, it all made sense. I was sitting in the main office when I saw an old photo in a broken frame. It was a school memorial. A boy had died here. His name, Eli Rivers. He was 17. He had died during a prank gone wrong. Locked in the science lab overnight. He suffocated when the gas lines malfunctioned. The picture looked familiar. Too familiar. I looked closer. It was me. That's when the memories came flooding back. The prank. The gas. The screaming. They locked me in. For fun. And I never made it out. I hadn't been working as a guard. I had been reliving my last nights, over and over, thinking I was still alive. And the laughter. That was them. The students who did it. Trapped here with me. This place isn't a school anymore. It's a prison for regret. For guilt. For spirits that never moved on. And I don't know if I ever will. Story 4. The Memory Game. A horror VR experience unlocks a memory I was never supposed to remember. It started as a dare. My roommate Ethan got this new VR headset and a horror game that hadn't even been released to the public. Some weird indie developer had coded it as a memory simulator. It wasn't on Steam or anywhere official. He downloaded it from a link on some hidden forum. The game was called Recollect. I wasn't interested at first. I hated horror games. But Ethan insisted I try it. It's not like the others, he said. So, one night, I put on the headset and launched the game. Immediately, everything went black. Then a voice spoke. Let's go back. The screen faded in. I was standing in a room. A small bedroom. A desk with toys. Posters on the wall. A tiny bed with cartoon bedsheets. It was my childhood room. Everything looked exactly like I remembered it, down to the little drawing I taped to the wall at age 7. How is this even possible? I whispered. I walked around. Everything worked. The drawers, the light switch. I even found my old teddy bear. But something felt off. I tried to open the bedroom door. It wouldn't budge. I knocked, and from outside came a voice. Don't come out until I say. My heart dropped. I knew that voice. It was my father's, but not how I remembered him. It was angrier, rougher. I looked out the small window. It was dark, no streetlights, just fog. Then the objects in the room began to repeat. The books on the shelf kept reappearing in different spots. The nightlight turned on and off in a loop. I heard whispers behind the walls. I wanted to remove the headset. But when I reached for it, my hands didn't move. I wasn't playing anymore. I was reliving. The teddy bear's voice echoed in the room. You saw something you weren't supposed to. Suddenly, I heard screaming. My own voice. As a child. It was coming from the closet. I hesitated, then opened it. Inside, there was a version of me, 7 years old, curled up, crying. Don't tell anyone, the boy whispered. I saw what Daddy did. The screen glitched violently. My vision blurred, a loud buzzing in my ears. Then I remembered, the memory I had buried for years. My father, and the neighbor's daughter. That night, he thought I was asleep. The game had forced me to unlock something I'd hidden deep inside. Not just trauma, a crime. I ripped the headset off, gasping for air. But the room around me, it wasn't my apartment. It was still my childhood bedroom, just darker. Rotten. Faded. The game hadn't let me out. I was trapped in my memory. And I wasn't alone. Outside the door, heavy footsteps approached. You shouldn't have remembered. Story 5. The boy on the bike. He kept calling my childhood address, but he looked exactly like me. It was late evening. I had just finished work and decided to take a shortcut through my old neighborhood. I hadn't been back there in over 15 years. It looked older, trees overgrown, houses more faded than I remembered. As I walked, I heard the sound of bike wheels spinning behind me. I turned. A young boy was following me on an old bicycle. Bell tied with red string. Rust on the handles. He had messy hair, faded jeans, a backpack. Can I help you, kid? I asked. He didn't stop pedaling, just looked at me and said, Are you going to 12 North Willow Lane? My heart skipped. That was my childhood home. He circled me again. You live there, don't you? I was too weirded out to answer. I just nodded slightly and kept walking faster. But no matter how far I went, the kid kept following, slowly, like he had all the time in the world. Finally, I stopped and said, Why do you want to know? He stared at me with calm, knowing eyes. Because you need to leave. Now. I turned the corner. My old house was right in front of me. It looked strange. The windows were lit from the inside, but the house had been empty for years. Then I heard it, a lullaby. My mother used to sing it to me. Go to sleep, little star, don't drift too far. The porch light blinked on. The door slowly opened. I couldn't stop myself. I stepped inside. The smell hit me first, like wet earth and burning plastic. Then came the sound of footsteps upstairs. The creaking of the hallway floorboards. Mom, I whispered. Silence. I climbed the stairs, slowly. My heart pounded louder with every step. When I reached the top, I saw it. My old bedroom door was open. Inside sat a woman on the bed, singing the lullaby to a child wrapped in blankets. But she wasn't facing me. I took a step closer. And she turned. Her face was mine, older, paler, eyes completely black. You weren't supposed to come back, she said. But now you're home. Forever. The child in the blanket sat up. It was me. As a kid, I backed away, terrified. Then I heard the front door slam shut. I ran down the stairs, trying to escape, but the hallway kept stretching. Turning, warping. Just then, the boy on the bike appeared in front of me again. I tried to warn you, he said. I did everything I could. I looked into his eyes. They were my eyes. He was me. A version of me that had never grown up. The one that never left this house. And he had come to save me, before the house took me back forever. He reached out and touched my arm. Suddenly, everything turned white. When I opened my eyes, I was outside. On the sidewalk. The house was gone. In its place was an empty lot, overgrown, forgotten, and crumbling. The boy was gone too. But I heard his voice, once more. Some memories aren't yours to visit. Some stories don't end when the lights come on. Some memories stay, hiding in the corners of your mind, waiting for the right moment to return. Which story haunted you the most tonight? Tell us in the comments below. And remember, this is Whisper Tales. Whatever you do, don't watch alone. I will meet you in the next story if you dare to come back again. Till then, bye bye, take care.